sản phẩm an bảo, sạch mụn, chống thâm, mờ sẹo.
So I'm going to do my best in the short time we're together to do whatever I can to help you, give you some distinction, some ideas, to get your thoughts, get your ideas across the first time. How many people would like that? Yes? And also be able to build your business a little bit faster. How many would like to do that? Yes? Okay, good. So that's what I'm all about. Before I begin, though, how many of you noticed that Zach and I both ask a lot of questions? Okay, when you first heard him doing it, how many people were got sick of the questions? How many got sick of raising your hand? All right, good. So the reason we do that, the reason I do that, is not to make you feel like a 4-year-old or anything like that. That's not the point. We're going to be talking a little bit about this word right here. What's the word? And one thing I know, if you get nothing else from this, so what's going to happen is I'm going to put some energy into this. Hopefully you put some energy back. Look, if I stood up here and I said, okay, for the next hour or so, I'm going to talk about sales. The most exciting thing you can think about. I got about 50 PowerPoint slides with 30 bullet points on each one. And I'm going to go, how many have ever been to a presentation like that? Okay, good. So I'm not going to do that. One thing that I've learned when it comes to selling, two people come together, and the reason I ask the questions is to ask some what? Get some what? Get some what? Because two people come together in a selling situation, person with highest energy usually wins. How many know what I'm talking about? Yes? How many of you have kids? If their energy is higher than yours, who wins? Am I right? If you don't have that experience, I'll loan you my 8-year-old and my 15-year-old. I mean, they'll wear you out. But the idea here is this, and Zach referred to it. He says, people get fired up, they get out there, they go out there to build the business, and they hit their first no, and what they lose is their what? Energy. So part of it is energy management, being able to maintain yours and others. How many people would like to know how to do that? Okay, good. So that's what we're going to do. It's the reason I ask questions. I'm going to be asking you to get involved to keep your energy going. Deal? Everybody willing to participate? Yes? All right, good. We'll see. We'll see. The other thing is this, is that, like I said, in tough economic times, the reason I like them is because the people that don't know how to run businesses get wiped out. I mean, not that I want them to get wiped out. My point is the people that know what they're doing do extremely well because there's more market share for them. Does that make sense? So when Zach is saying, he says, people sit around, they talk about their health, they talk about their hip, they talk about their last doctor visit. People talk about health, and they talk about money. Yes? And of course, being in the right place at the right time with the right products, now the only variable is to make sure, as he said, you have the right you there. Yes? How many have ever seen a great opportunity? How many people saw somebody else take advantage of it and you didn't? How many got a little upset about that? Okay, good. You should. I mean, Roger said it yesterday when you were talking about, I think it was your father that said, I could have bought that property at a certain amount. Don't ever let that happen to you. So what I'm going to tell you is this. This is a window. This is a what? It's a window of opportunity where some people are going to get very, very wealthy. And I'm not just talking about financial wealth. I'm talking about emotional wealth, physical wealth, spiritual wealth. How many people would like some of that for yourself? Because at that point, where I learned what it took to really build a business. I knew how to sell. I mean, number one is you got to know. The number one skill is as I said, is you got to know how to what? Because sales equals income. Sales equals what? Income. Say it like you mean it. Sales equals what? Income. Sales equals income. Any business I've ever worked with that ever had a cash flow problem, profitability issues, market exposure issues, usually somewhere, someplace in the organization, in a key place, somebody doesn't like to or doesn't know how to what? Sell. And by the way, selling is not just selling a product. I mean, it's how many of you realize getting your bookkeeper, getting your accountant, getting your attorney to be on board with you, that also takes an enrolling process, yes? You see? So sales, how many of you know people that have great ideas but make no money with them? See, in my experience unfortunately, I read Small Business Administration said in April of 2008 that over 82%, what percent? 82% of most businesses would fail within 4 years. Now, that was before the credit crunch. And my experience is not so much they don't have a good product, they don't know how to what? Sell it. Number two is you also have to know how to build a great what? Team. And if you're going to build a team, you got to be able to recruit, and recruit is the same as what? Sell. Here's the problem, however. If I said to you, let's do a little free word association here for a second, okay? You know what that is? In other words, if I said the word Christmas, what words would you say? What else? Toys, happy, credit cards, whatever. Okay, whatever. All right. So I'm going to give you a word. I just want you to shout out the words that immediately come to your brain when I say this word. Ready? Here it goes. Salesman. Did you hear what? Come on, you guys, say something. What came up? Yeah, because what I heard in the very beginning is pushy, sleazy, right? Some people say rich, that's good, second thought, but the problem is if you have this vision of a pushy, sleazy salesperson, you'll do everything to avoid it. And what's the easiest way to avoid that image? Yeah, don't sell. Convince yourself, I'm not a salesperson. I can't do this. I'm not into that. Everybody understand, yes? Hello? Okay, good. The third thing that I learned also is it's critical to know how to what? How to what? Teach. Not preach, teach. What's the word? Teach other people on your what? How to? Let me just say something about that right now. How many of you would like to build a great business in this business? The holy grail, the secret to in my experience in working with network marketing businesses over the last 10, 15 years is if you can learn how to what? Other people on your how to, you'll build depth beyond your wildest dreams. Everybody understand, yes? The problem is that for some of you, you're pretty good at selling, but you're not good at transferring or replicating it to somebody else. Does that make sense? So the idea is to learn how to teach. And teach, by the way, is not just show and tell. I'm going to give you some examples of teaching. How many would like to know how to do that? So you can take some of these things back to your teams and get them to do a little bit better. Yes? It's not show and tell. It's not just standing up there and saying, this is what I did, just do what I did. I mean, that's helpful. But that's, in the cone of learning, that's about 20% retention, which we'll get into a little bit later. The other thing about a business is that a business has to have solid what? Solid what? Systems. This is the difference between a self-employed business and a real business. The great thing about JD Premium is it gives you plenty of what? Marketing what? Marketing systems, okay? Selling systems. You got a flip chart system. Everybody understand, yes? Follow the what? Because the truth of it is where people fall down is they want to do it on their own. They want to do it their way. And they want to modify it a little bit to do it their way. How many know what I'm talking about? Just follow the what? How many people would be willing to do that? Turn to the person next to you and say, I will follow the system. Okay? The other thing about a business is I learned back then is it requires, and by the way, most salespeople hate this word. What's the word? What's the word? Particularly in accountability to numbers. And accountability to numbers. You've got to know your numbers. In other words, how many phone calls do you make? How of those phone calls, how many contacts do you get through to? And how many contacts does it take to get an appointment to sit down and do a one-on-one? And out of those appointments, how many are you going to close into the business? Everybody understand, yes? Hello, yes? So if you figure you got to do 100 calls, get through to 50 people. Of the 50 people, you're going to get 20 people that might be interested that say they want to meet with you. Of the 20, probably 10 might, and actually 3 or 4 of those will cancel, so you'll end up in front of 5 people, and you're going to convert 1. Everybody understand, yes? Hello, yes? Turn to somebody and say, that's great news. Turn to somebody and say, it's great news. Why is it great news? Why is it great news? Because you know what it takes to get rich now. Everybody understand, yes? You know what it takes to get rich now. It's not rocket science anymore. Everybody understand, yes? See, the truth about sales, you can be deaf, dumb, and blind and still make a lot of money if you are accountable to your what? Numbers. Look, how many of you in this room would like to be in better physical shape? Come on, everybody raise your hand. Okay, good. Now, how many of you realize that the first thing you got to do in order to lose weight is do what? Stop eating? No. 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 You got to get on the scale. First step. Look, I'm not kidding you. You got to get on the scale. It's the same thing. You got to know your what? Numbers. You got to be able to calibrate what you're doing. Everybody understand, yes? When we were down $750,000, my wife and I, we got back to zero, man. That was celebration. Pop the party. Everybody understand, yes? Hello? And so my point is, you got to have an accountability to numbers. When we've worked with organizations where teams have been willing to sit down and say, here's what I did this week, here are my numbers, every single one of them. Now, by the way, 10% typically drop out because they don't want to be accountable. They don't want to do it that way. But my experience is those that do typically will drive their numbers, and you'll watch a sustained growth over an extended period of time. How many people would be willing to be accountable? Yes? Okay, that's why that premium mentor, I keep mastery in my mind, premium mentor university is so important to hold you accountable. How many of you would like to build great wealth extremely quickly? Okay, good. Now, by extremely quickly, I don't mean like overnight. How long does it take, by the way, to build a business? Yeah, about 3 to 5 years. Anybody's telling you that you can do it faster than that is really not telling you the truth, or they don't have a lot of experience in my experience. Does that make sense? So, the bottom line is that in order to build your business, if you want to do this, my experience, this is the formula. Does this make sense? Hello, yes? Okay, good. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'm going to give you about 1 minute. How long? 1 minute. What I'm going to ask you, but this is not a break. Don't go run to the toilet or anything like that. What I want you to do is I want you to discuss this. Discuss with the person sitting next to you, where are you strong and where are you weak? What are the areas that you need to work on specifically in order to build your business? Which of these areas do you think would make the biggest impact? Does that make sense? Got it? Okay, so 1 minute, discuss with the person next to you. Ready? Go. How many need more work here? Show of hands. How about here? How about here? Here. You shouldn't need that. You got that. How about this? How about here? How many work on all of it? Okay, good. It's good. Me too. I mean, it's a never-ending education. I mean, this is not rocket science material. Everybody understand? Yes? Sales equals income. What's the problem then? Who said time? Who said time? Okay, hold that thought. Just hold on to that thought for a minute, okay? It's a good one because it's a common one. But here's the problem. Everybody see it? Everybody go, oh. I'm teasing, okay? This is your brain. This is not your brain on drugs or anything like that, but this is your brain. Now, what percentage of your brain do you consciously use? Anybody know? How much? What percent? 2? 10. Okay, 2. It'll be a rough day here. Okay. All right. So if that's let's say 7 or 8% that you consciously use. If this is the conscious part of your brain, what part of the brain is this? Unconscious? Is that what you said? This is unconscious. No, it's called. Yeah, thank you. It's called the what? Subconscious. The reason we call it subconscious Is it because we have lots of memories in there we don't think about all day long? For example, how many people in this room have ever been heartbroken at least one time in your life? Oh, come on. Some of you, get your hands up. Okay, good, thank you. How many of you have ever lost money at least once in your life? Oh, good, yeah. How many of you have ever loaned money to somebody who didn't pay you back? Okay, good. Oh, now we don't think about all those things, but they show up in other parts of your life. For example, let's say that, what's your name? Ron. Let's say Ron and I are working together, we're doing some training together, we're making calls together, everything's working really well. We've maybe got some other businesses, we're in joint venturing. Everything's great with Ron and I. We've been working together for 9 months. By the way, I'm making this up, okay? What I don't know about Ron is maybe 5 years before I met him, he loaned money to a friend that didn't pay him back, and it really upset him. I don't know if that happened or not, but anyway. All I know is it's present time right now, and I go up to Ron and I say, Ron, you know, I'm a little short on cash. If you could loan me about $80,000, $90,000, I'd be happy to pay you back in a few months. Now, if he's been burnt before, what's he immediately thinking? And I want you to hear something. This is critical. Immediately, our relationship changes. How many know what I'm talking about? Immediately, all of a sudden, he doesn't trust me as much. He doesn't want to hang around with me. And here's the point you guys got to get if you're going to be leaders. It has nothing to do with me. I could be totally trustworthy. Everybody understand? Yes? But it's because because of my request, I triggered something out of his what? Subconscious, came up in the form of what I call his what? Little voice. Everybody know the little voice I'm talking about? It's the one that just went, what little voice? I don't have a little. That's the one I'm talking about. Mine sounds like my mother. I don't know what yours sounds like. How many of you have a little voice? How many people suspect you have more than one? Okay, good. And so my experience is what blows this whole thing out of the water, which was what Zach was alluding to, and some of you have read the book, is that what stands in the way, and I don't care if what you're looking for is money, relationships, lifestyle, is that incessant chatter between your ears called your what? Little voice. How many know what I'm talking about? It's the one that says, that walks out of here and says, we have some of the best products on the planet. We have the best comp plan on the planet. I am so excited, but what are they going to think about me? Well, you haven't made enough money in this business yet. What makes you think you know what you're talking about? Maybe you need a little more experience. Maybe you should learn a little bit more about the ingredients of every single one of the products before you talk to somebody about it. That'll help. Am I right? It's just your little voice playing games with you. Does this make sense? None of you guys, you don't need to be an expert on what's in the bottle. You're an expert on giving people their what? Dreams. That's the business that you're in. That's what this country needs. That's what the economy needs. Everybody understand? Yes? How many people know the little voice I'm talking about here? See what I'm saying? And so what happens is what happens along the way here is you want to build a business, right? And what happens is you want to build a business, but your confidence level is low, blah, blah, blah. You're going to go out, you're going to get on the phone, you're going to make phone calls, right? I'm going to go talk to some people, right? You've said it to yourself. Well, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. Well, I got a couple of emails I got to answer, and I got a couple errands to run. And oh, by the way, I need to clean my closet and clean my desk, and blah, blah, blah. And you don't get around to it. Because life just happens. How many know what I'm talking about? Yes? You got to get on tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. And all the things your little voice tells you to do are all very logical, because every single one of you is a person of responsibility and commitment. Is that right? Is that right? Yes, it is. And so I said I was going to be on this conference call, and I said I was going to do that, and I said I was going to do all that, and guess what? It's your little voice playing games with you. Because what you're building now is you're building a thing called, what's it called? Resistance. Did I spell that right? Resistance, yeah, resistance. Could be a book you want to write. And after a while, your little voice starts saying, well, who's going to listen to you anyway? Who would want to read what you had to write? And every time you procrastinate, every time you what? Say the word. Every time you procrastinate, you know what you're doing? What you're doing is you're demeaning this. You're taking the value of this down. You're saying that answering that email is more important than you having your dream. What you're saying is that cleaning your closet is more important than providing a legacy to your family for the rest of their generations. Everybody understand? Yes? That's not what you mean to be doing, but that's what you're doing. Until after a while he goes, well, nobody's going to listen to me anyway. This is not for me. I'm not a salesperson. You go off and wander away. Everybody understand? Yes? Hello? Don't do that. That's why, as Zach said, you've got to be around people that are going to keep supporting you and doing what you need to do. Now, somebody remember this, because I want to make sure I get through some other stuff. There is a way. Well, I'll just do it now. You okay with this? How many would like to be able to overcome resistance? How many would like to know what to do you can do on an everyday basis to help keep this from happening? Yes? All right, good. So here's what I'm going to do. It's called I don't do this hardly ever in these presentations, but I'm doing it with you guys. And the reason I'm doing it with you guys is I got a big vested, not financial, but a big emotional interest in making sure you guys win here. Okay? Now, no, look. When you look at network marketing, there are people that come in early, there are people that come in late, people coming in the middle. Yes? Very rarely. This company's barely 2 years old. Yes? I mean, you can't ask for being in the better place at a better time. Everybody understand, yes? And so my experience is that when Zach said, would you support? I'm going, I'm in. Look at the track record. I do my due diligence as I would on any investment, and I'm going, I'm in. So I'm going to give you some of this stuff right now. Yes? Okay. It's called gratitude. What's it called? Gratitude. If you want more of something, look. Well, what's the easiest way to get a punch in the face? Yeah, punch somebody else first, right? Yes? What's the easiest way to get a hug? Hug first. Everybody understand, yes? So what you attract what you give. So the idea here is a little exercise that one of my mentors taught me many years ago. I'm going to give it to you right now. Just 5 questions. You might want to write them down. Ready? First question, you get up in the morning, I keep a journal. What's my goal for the day? Simple goal. Just doesn't need to be a sales goal, doesn't need to be a big one. Just maybe the goal may be, I just want to learn something new today. It could be, I just want to make 5 phone calls if you want to calibrate it. Everybody understand, yes? That's it. One goal for the day. Number 2, what am I willing to give to others today? What am I willing to give to others today? What did I write this morning? I'm willing to give 200-300% energy, education, leadership, compassion, love. That's me today. That's what I put down for today. That's what I wanted to give. Everybody understand, yes? What do I want to give today? Number 3, this is a great one. List 10 things. How many things? 10 things that I'm grateful for right now. 10 things. Always the first on my list is my family. Second thing for me is my health. Third thing is whatever talents God, the Great Spirit, whatever, gave to me. And then others. It's interesting, I do this with Zachary, my 8-year-old, verbally. The more I go, okay, Zach, 10 things. You can never get to 10. But you know what the 8-year-old, you know what the first thing he's most grateful for? What do you think? 8-year-old. Close. Toys. Makes sense, yes? Toys. Second thing. You know what the second thing is? Hugs. Third thing, air. Fourth, water. Food. Interesting from an 8-year-old. How many people know what I'm talking about? And so you list the 10 things you're most grateful for. Now you understand what you're doing. What you're doing is you're building the value of this back up every time you do that. Does that make sense? So that what happens is your vision of you and what you're grateful for and what you're all about is in your face every single day is the way you start your day. Does that make sense? Okay. Question number 4. What are you grateful for that somebody else does for you? What are you grateful for that someone else does for you? So for me today, I'm grateful to Zach and to you guys for trusting me. Look, I've been in rooms. When I did my first presentation many years ago. You know how many people showed up for my first presentation? 2. I had a room set up for like 150 people. Only 2 people showed up, and one of them was actually in the wrong place. No kidding. I figured it would have been cheaper to pay them not to come than what I spent to do it. So when you guys show up, if there's 2 of you, if there's 200 of you, I am grateful. Everybody understand, yes? If you're an entrepreneur and somebody buys your stuff, even if you're broke, you just say, thank you. How many know what I'm talking about, yes? So it's very real. What does somebody else do for you that you're grateful for? And number 5, real simply, what am I happy about right now? What am I happy about right now? Just make a list. What am I happy about? Boom, 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 boom. You continue to do this, you'll start removing that procrastination and resistance. I guarantee you, 7 days. How many days? How many days? 7 days. If you do this diligently, you're going to see some magical things start to attract to you. How many people would like that? Turn to somebody right now and say, that would be cool. Okay, it's the law of attraction a little bit. Now, at the end of the day, there's 3 more questions. So before you go to bed, real simply, the first question is, how did I do on my goals? Or my goal? Number 2, what did I improve on today, or what did I add value on today? And number 3, what else am I happy about now that I'm going to bed? Okay, that's all it is. Got it? All right. Repeat it. Repeat 3. Okay, how did I do on my goal? How did I do on my goal? What did I improve on or add value to today? And number 3, what am I happy about right now? Same question you had before. Okay? Because all I'm doing is I'm giving you in order to be able to deal with this puppy right here, you need to have what I call LVMS. What's LVMS stand for? Little Voice Management Systems. Little Voice Mastery Systems. How many of you have this CD? How many have the CD? How many do not have the CD? Oh, okay. This is my $500,000 CD. You know why it's $500,000? I mean, these are actually Little Voice techniques I learned from my masters, my teachers, my gurus. Most of this is not original. It's what I learned from some of the greatest minds in personal development. Now, you know why I say it doesn't cost you that. But you know why $500,000? Because that's what I've spent on personal development training, coaching, books, CDs for me, probably in just the last 10 years. Everybody understand, yes? Now, why do you think I spend so much money on it? Why? Why? Yeah, because I know I'm screwed up. I know I'm psychotic. Honest, I know that the only thing that stands between me and what I'm looking for is between my right ear and my left ear. How many know what I'm talking about here? How many people suspect that may be true for you too? Okay? And so my experience is you've got to practice techniques that are designed to reprogram this thing. I'm going to give you another one in a minute here. How many would like one right this second? Okay, I just gave you one on gratitude. I'll give you another one. If you ever watch sports, and somebody scores a goal, a basket, touchdown, whatever, instinctively, what do the players do? What do they do? They celebrate, don't they? Yes? And how do they celebrate? Jump up and down, what else? Beat up? Yeah, I don't recommend the beating up part or the headbutts, okay? But I'm going to ask you to do something. I think Zach's had you do this before. I'm going to have you do it again. Some of your little voices may not like it, but I'm going to ask you to override your little voice and do it anyway. Okay? Turn to the person next to you, give them a high five, tell them they're awesome. Ready, go. Did you guys do it? All right, good. Now, do it one more time. Go. Did you guys do it? So, what just happened to the energy level in the room? Did it go up or down? And remember I said highest energy what? Wins. I don't have you do high fives to make it happy camp. Come on, you guys. I mean, seriously. There are trainers that'll tell you got to communicate, cooperate, collaborate. It's not my experience. Being in business most of my adult life, I can tell you sometimes business would be simple if there were no people involved. How many know what I'm talking about? Just do the job, please. Right? But luckily people are involved. And what I know is when they celebrate a win, celebrate a what? When their energy's higher, people are typically willing to take more responsibility, more ownership, more risk. Everybody understand? Yes? How many people would like it if people took a little more risk and took a little more ownership? Yes? All right, let's look at sales real quickly here. Sales is a what? Process is pretty simple. Step one. What is it? Find what? Somebody with what? Money and a need. Or something they can exchange. Everybody understand? Yes? Yes? How many of you have ever wasted your time talking to somebody who had no money? Okay, good. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with that right now. I want to focus on a couple other things right here. Second step is, by the way, in the programs that we do, I do a 2-day sales and leadership program. We go into this in a lot of detail. I'm just giving you a little bit of it right now. Second step is approach and what? Hello, approach and what? Turn to the person next to you, shake their hand, and say, how do you do? Ready, go. Okay? Now give them a high five. Say, I think I can handle that. Okay? Although typically it's a little voice going, well, what if they don't like me? What am I going to say to them? What if they... Okay? Look, what's the easiest way to approach and contact somebody? How many don't want to be a pest? How many don't want to be a pest? Because your little voice goes, I don't want to be a pest, right? How do you not be a pest? Be quiet. Thank you. Say that a little louder. Ask questions. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Look, the whole idea in negotiating or selling is that you should be asking questions first. Most people have what I call premature closing syndrome. Okay? Premature closing, because the minute they meet somebody, they have diarrhea of the mouth. They're trying to sell something, and of course, you're going to be a pest. Everybody understand, yes? So don't do that. How many would like to be invited in as a guest? Okay, good. So the way is you ask lots of what? What do you do? How do you do that? Why do you do that? How long have you been doing that for? Boom, boom, boom. Who do people like talking about the most? Themselves. And sooner or later, they run out of things to say, and then what are they going to say? Yeah, what do you do? Now you've been invited in. Turn to somebody, give them a high five, say, I like that better. Okay? All right. I'm simplifying, obviously. Third thing is you got to be able to what? Be able to what? Present. Now, in this business, which business? Which business? I'm going to tell you, and some of you your little voices may not like this, but I'm going to tell you something, that if you want to make a lot of money in this business, you better learn how to what? Present. Because it is an event-driven business. Everybody understand, yes? You need to be able to get in front of people one-on-one, one-on-5, one-on-10, one-on-100 if you're going to make good money and build a team, yes? How many people realize there's more leverage me talking to 150 of you than talking to you one at a time, yes? This is true in just about any business. Because sooner or later, somebody's going to say, what do you do? Then what are you going to say? Who can tell me? If I said to you, what do you do? What would you say? What would you say? Yeah. You make money. Change people's lives. Huh? What's that? Restore hope and optimize health. Okay, good. That'd be good. What else? What's that? Provide a premium lifestyle. Okay, good. I mean, possibly. How about this? I mean, if somebody says to you, what do you do? And they say, well, we market some great supplements. How do you think that's going to work? Hello? How many are not too interested? How many are not too interested? Okay, good. So what about this? Somebody stand up. Somebody would like to learn how to do this. Please stand up. All right, give her a hand. Give her a hand. Come on, give her a hand. Some of you guys in the back better get your energy up. I'm just going to call it as I see it. Or you ain't going to build a business. I'm telling you the truth. I'm going to tell you something, that business is a high energy contact sport. Person with highest energy, most contacts, wins. Everybody understand, yes? Hello, hello, yes? And the idea is, if you don't be looking at this as a movie. I'm not a movie up here. I'm doing my best to give you stuff that you can do. What's your name? Marilyn. Give Marilyn a hand. Okay, so Marilyn, if I asked you, you've been asking me what I do. I say, what do you do? What are you going to say? Okay, not bad. Would you like to make that a little bit better? Okay, good. Would you like to learn how? Would you like to learn how right now? Okay, good. So, Marilyn, how long have you been in the business? This business? Huh? Okay, good. Now, is her credibility high or low at 8 months? Low. Typically low, okay? Because most of you, when you're introducing, you're trying to sell something, you're trying to get some credibility, yes? Okay, good. But what's her advantage that you all have? Energy, but what else? She's part of a team, okay? So you're part of a team. How long has this team been around? A couple of years. Over the last, how many people has this business touched? Thousands. And help thousands of people do what? Okay, well, let's be more specific. Remember, this is where you have to have an accountability to your what? Numbers. It's help people earn money, yes? From what to what? What's the range? People have made anywhere from what to what? Yeah, several hundred to several $1,000s a month. Okay, now let's put it all together. What do you do? I'm part of a team. Go. That for the last has helped how many? Pretty good. Give her a hand so far. Give her a hand. Well done. Try it again. Try it again. Exactly the same way. You're doing great. Go. Very good. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Now, there's one other piece to that. Because when you're in sales, the other thing is, you have step 4 here, which I'll get to in a second, is you got to also know how to what? How to what? What's the word? So how do you close? How do you close the deal? Well, no. Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about closing. You're always closing. So what you got to do is ask a question. So say something like, is that something you might be interested in? Okay, so let's take it from the top. What do you do? Here, look. Part of a team. Here, look, I'll help you. Part of a team. Then number of years. Number of people. And then ask a question. Is that something you'd be interested in? Well done. Now, how long did that take? A couple of minutes. Everybody understand, yes? But what happens for a lot of people, they get stuck here because their little voice, I don't know what to say, I don't want to do. But just by practicing, what's it called? Practicing, what happens is her confidence level, did it go up or did it go down? Up. And like I said, my experience is the distance between you, most of you in this room, and where you want to be in the business is not very far. It's that far away. that far away. Does that make sense? Yes? Hello, yes? Give her another hand, please. Give her a hand. Okay? The other thing in sales is you've got to be able to take a no and turn it into a what? Yes. Which I'm going to come to in a second. And number 6 is obviously, in my mind, the final part of the sale is a what? What's it called? What is a testimonial? It's experience, but I'll tell you what else it is. It's proof. What is it? It's proof that what you sold, you delivered on the promise. In other words, a testimonial isn't, well, you really ought to check out JD Premium, they're pretty good. No. A testimonial would be before I gave JD Premium, I was really scrimping to find enough income to live the lifestyle I want, but in the last 9 months, I've been able to generate extra income. My health is much better, all because of JD Premium. Now, what do you notice about that testimonial? What's the anatomy of a good testimonial? It's personal. Good. What else is it? Short. Good. What else is it? True. Yes, of course. It's got to be true. What else? Conviction. Look, it's a before and after. Everybody understand? Yes? Before it was like this. Now it's like this. By the way, what industry uses this all the time to sell? Weight loss, right? How many have ever seen it? Weight loss. It's like before, after. How many have you seen it? Yes? Very compelling. So the idea is, and it forces you to go back to your customers, go back to your teams, and make sure that you delivered on the promise that you promised them to begin with. Does that make sense? Yes? So somebody give them a high five, say, I got it. Okay. The one thing that knocks people out of the park, Zach referred to it. I'm going to refer to it right here. It's this one right here. This is the biggest little voice issue of all. Turning a no into a what? Yes. In other words, handling a what? Objection. Now, what's the problem with objections? Why are objections hard? Why do they knock people out? Huh? You don't have an answer? Okay, good. Take it personally. Good, thank you. And why is that a problem? Why do you take it personally? Yeah, look, it's because that's the way you were programmed and conditioned. Remember I said it before, if you made a mistake in school, you got laughed at, yes? So typically, the prospect of an objection brings up not objection, but the word what? Rejection. Which is really not a rejection, but because your little voice thinks it is, what happens is it generates some what? And when emotion goes up, what goes down? Intelligence. Look, how many of you have ever said something when you were upset that 10 seconds later wished you had not said it? Oh, come on. How many have ever done that at home? Okay, all. We've all done it. And so the point here is what happens for some people, they get an objection, they go, is this a pyramid scheme? Is this like Amway? Right? And all of a sudden it's like emotion comes up, and what happens is some people go into what I call goldfish mode, which is like, or some people get what I call diarrhea of the mouth, which is like, they don't even know what they're saying. They know they got to say something. The sweat's going down their back. How many know what I'm talking about? Either way is a really embarrassing situation. So what's the easiest way to avoid the embarrassment? No, don't sell. Convince yourself, I'm not a salesperson. I can't do this. I'm not that kind of person. And just take yourself out of the game, which is what 95% of most people do. Everybody understand, yes? Turn to somebody, give them a high five. Say, not happening to me. All right, so here's how this is going to work. What I want you to do, how many would like to learn how to handle this once and for all? How to never be intimidated by this. How many would like to also know how to teach it to somebody else so they're never intimidated? All right, turn to somebody, give them a high five, say, bring it on. Okay. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to, how are we going to do this? You're sitting in fixed seats, it's kind of hard. Okay, groups of 3 if you can. Get yourself in groups of 3 real quickly. Just point out a couple people. 2 is okay. 3 is okay. 4 would be too many. Okay? Get in groups of 3 quickly. Oops. Okay, so when you take an objection, by the way, if somebody says to you, what you're offering is too expensive. Okay, by the way, everybody have partners? Okay, in your group, choose a person A, person B, and a person C. Or A and B if you only have A and B. Okay, A's, raise your hand. Good. B's, raise your hand. Good. C's, raise your hand. All right, good. Very good. All right, B's, you're buyers. B's are buyers. B's, raise your hand. Okay, A's. Okay, A's, you're JD Premium. Okay, C's, raise your hand. You're coaches. What I'm going to do here is this. Check this out. Is this stable? Okay, good. This is what I'm going to have you do. B, I'm going to put an objection up on the screen. B's, you're going to say it to A. A, you're going to do exactly what Jarrett did. You're going to give an acknowledgement and ask a question. But here are the rules. If B, now B, you pay attention. If the person, the JD Premium person, stutters, hesitates, tries to defend it or answer it, you say, stop. What do you say? What do you say? Say it like you mean it. This is called a role play. Now, I know some of your little voices are going, I hate doing role plays. What are you going to do? You're going to go out and practice on live people that could be writing you checks? That makes no sense. You would go out there to the driving range and hit golf ball after golf ball after golf ball, but no, you're not going to practice making money? Does this make sense? This drill, I'm going to tell you something, this drill you're about to do right now, when I first introduced it, the first network marketing organization I did, Amway, okay, a long time ago, within 6 weeks, how many weeks? 6 weeks, their sales activity went up 282%, and their conversions doubled in the same time frame. Now, how many would like that? Okay? So your little voice going, I don't want to do it. Then don't do it at your own peril. Everybody understand, yes? It's called practice. What's it called? You have got to practice if you're going to be a pro. Does this make sense? All right. Now, coaches, your job is that if the JD Premium, the A person goes into complete goldfish mode, don't leave them barbecuing out there. Help them out a little bit. Give them a question to ask, okay? And then I'll keep switching them. Now, so that I know that you finally got it, in other words, if it goes like this, you're too expensive. I appreciate your saying, but if they say, you say what? Stop. And you hit them with the objection again immediately. Your product is too expensive. I appreciate your saying, but stop. Your product is too expensive. I appreciate what you're saying. Come on, say it. Your product is too expensive. Your product is too expensive. I appreciate what you're saying, but why do you think it's too expensive? Then you give them a high five. That'll signal me I can go to the next objection. Does that make sense? Turn to somebody, give them a high five. So you're going to be awesome at this. All right. All right. First objection. Don't try to solve it. Just ask a question. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Okay, last one. Okay, so how many people got stopped a few times? All right, good. How many people found, though, if you kept repeating it, after a while, you got through it, yes? Now, how long did that take? A few minutes. The reason we had a 282% increase in sales activity is because rather than your little voice going, I hope they don't object, I hope they don't think this is a pyramid scheme, right? Do you ever notice that whatever you're worried about is what shows up? You know, if you're worried about pyramid scheme, guess what's going to come up in the first 2 minutes? Pyramid scheme. You think it's they don't have time? Guess what's going to come up? No time. Everybody understand, yes? Now, don't ask me why, but in 28 years of selling, I'm going to tell you that it's for some strange reason, whatever is in here shows up over there. It's kind of like I said yesterday, some of the people that have been in this organization for a while, they don't get this pyramid scheme question. It just doesn't show up because it's not part of who they are. They're not worried about it. Turn to somebody, give them a high five, say, that's great news. Because you can't control them, but you can control you. Does this make sense? So by practicing and drilling it, you get it out of your brain, so rather than going, I hope they don't think this is a pyramid scheme, you're going, hit me with a pyramid scheme. Come on, bring it on. Make my day. Which is a way different way of going after it. Everybody understand, yes? Okay, switch roles. Switch roles quickly. Make sure the other person gets a chance to do this. Okay? Ready? Go. So let me ask you something. Energy higher or lower? Right. And highest energy what? Wins. Does this make sense? Look, some of you are pretty good on those until I get toward the end. And then it was like, why should I listen to you? Or you have no idea what you're talking about. Now, why would I put those up there? But what? Look, sometimes somebody might say that to you, but not usually. It's not so much that somebody's going to say that to you. It's you're worried that they're thinking it. Everybody understand, yes? But how many people realize you need some practice? How many people realize, though, with a little bit of practice, you can make a lot of money, yes? Look, how many of you have ever not been able to handle an objection? But how many, even though you couldn't handle it, how many of you came up with a great comeback like 10 minutes later? Right? And the reason for that is because of this. Once your emotion comes down, then you can think intelligently again. Does this make sense? And I'm going to tell you something, having worked with hundreds of thousands of people over the years, is that the biggest disservice you can do to somebody coming into this business is to squash their dreams due to lack of practice. It's just not fair to them. They don't know. They're coming into a business. You brought them in. You're presenting a dream to them, an opportunity for them to be who they always dreamt they can be, but it's up to you then to what? Teach them. Because here's what happens. Here's what happens. Unfortunately, like Zach says, everybody gets fired up. They go out of here. They're all excited. But here's what happens over time. Whenever somebody tries to take something new on, right here, is your competency level high or low in the beginning? Low. So your competency is low, and your frustration level is what? High, right? Now, ideally, over time, this should do one of these, right? Until you get to that point right here, that's why it's great. You have the 24, 48-hour process where you get somebody through it. But I would maintain that you're going to have to be able to keep them going a little bit longer than 24, 48 hours until they get to this point right here where they reach a moment that I call the what? What moment? Aha, I can do it. I can see it. I got it. I'm not good at it, but I can get there. How many know what I'm talking about? Yes? Hello, yes? Here's the problem. Turn to somebody and say, what's the problem? All right, here's the problem. The problem is, in this industry, typically 95%. How many percent? 95%, somewhere over here, they what? Quit. I mean, they're still part of the organization, but they just quit on the process. Everybody understand, yes? How many know what I'm talking about? They quit. So your job as a leader, your job as a what? is to slide this curve over here. That's why you got to know how to what? Teach. You've got to get them into role play. You got to get them, hold their hand and be with them over here so that they force the money in their hands before their little voice has the chance to what? Quit. Everybody understand? Yes? Turn to somebody, give them a high five, say, I want to be able to do that. Okay? Okay. Everybody up? Everybody please stand up. Everybody please stand up. Everybody stand up. How many people saw the movie Home Alone? How many saw the movie Home Alone? When that little guy celebrated, he couldn't give a high five. What did he do? Everybody put your hands out like this. Make a fist. Go, yes. Okay, now it's probably not a good idea to do that in front of a customer. Okay? But please promise me whatever you do, you'll celebrate your wins. We have a long future together if you choose to participate. We want you to win. And the reason we want you to win is an example of that most people don't get the chance to see is that most of you have no idea how big you are. This is your chance to see how big you can be. 2 fists out. On the count of 3, pull it in and yell yes, and then we're out of here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Great job. Give yourselves a hand. Well done.